कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वांतोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तित परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्षाक्षरायते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुमे। मदेक बंधो मत्संगिन मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निस्तारक मद्भाग्य मदानंद नमोस्तुते। असाधु साधुता दायिन अतिनीचोच्चतारक हानमुंच कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णार्थ कंठयो स्फुर। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम की जय। Hare Krishna. So thank you all for coming in this additional session to complete this unit's contents. So the plan is today we'll finish the remainder of chapter 15 and also chapter 16. So we'll go a little faster. I'll just discuss the main sections and verses. And this way 15 and 16 will complete today. And then 17, 18, 19 is being given for self-study. Those are the chapters which have primarily only description of the fight between Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha. So there is not much purport there. It's just translations. And some, of course, some verses do have purports also, but primarily it is a description of fighting. So instead of doing it together, so it is being given by self-study, for self-study. So you can complete it that way, 17, 18, 19. But today 15 and 16 we'll discuss. Okay. So we are in chapter 15 and we have seen till verse 37, I think. Yeah. So in this chapter, as you remember, this Bhagwan Brahmaji, he is talking to the demigods and he's explaining the reason why the directions were filled up with darkness. So then he started describing how once Kumaras, they visited this Rama Vaikuntha. So the description of Vaikuntha Varnanam, that's the chapter. So that is done. Brahmaji glorified Vaikuntha in many, many verses. So we saw that in prior sessions. Then as Kumaras passed through the gates, they were not stopped. But at the final gate, seventh gate, they saw that Jai Vijay were standing there and they were stopped by Jai Vijay. So because of which they became very angry. So all the events are quite inconceivable, unprecedented. Jai Vijay not recognizing Kumaras and stopping them. Kumaras also, although being completely Brahman realized, getting angry on them and cursing them. So they curse them. Itaha vrajatama. You go away from here to Lokan, to the material world. So when all this fiasco was happening at the seventh gate, so then Lord, he being the one who knows everything, so he appeared over there. That was the last verse that we saw. Evam tadaiva bhagavan arabindhanav. And he walked. He didn't even wear his padukas, and he just walking on his lotus feet. He reached to the place where this whole thing was happening. And he also came with goddess of fortune, Lakshmi ji. So we discussed that particular verse in the last section. Now, description of Lord's beauty is there for around 5 verses. So these are the one of the final verses in this chapter now. So text 38, we will recite together. Tam tvagatam pratirtaupaikam swapumbher te chakshataksh vishayam swasamadhi bhagyam hamsa shriyor vyajanayo shivavayulolat shubhrata patra shashikesar shikarambum. Translation.
The sages, headed by Sanaka Rishi, saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who was formerly visible only within their hearts in ecstatic trance, had now actually become visible to their eyes. As he came forward, accompanied by his own associates, bearing all paraphernalia, such as an umbrella and a charmer fan, the white bunches of hair moved very gently, like two swans, and due to their favorable breeze, the pearls garlanding the umbrella also moved, like drops of nectar falling from the white full moon or ice melting due to a gust of wind.
So Lord's appearance is glorified. His Rupa Madhurya is glorified in 5 verses, starting from this. So they saw, these Kumaras saw this beautiful sight. Te achakshat. These Kumaras saw. What did they see? Aksha Vishayam. They saw this object of their sight, object of their eyes. And the other words are glorifying this object of their vision, meaning Supreme Lord. So this Supreme Lord who appeared over there, he was Pratirato Paikam Swapumbhir. He was accompanied by very beautiful paraphernalia that was being carried by his associates. Pratirata Aupaikam. Aupaikam bolte paraphernalia. So they were carrying beautiful paraphernalia for him. As Lord appeared on the scene, last time also we discussed that everybody came running there. Many of the associates of the Lord and even the other residents, they came running there. Somebody brought beautiful flowers, somebody brought some tulasi, somebody brought garland to offer to the Lord. So Lord's entourage plus all these personalities who came to welcome the Lord. So it was a beautiful sight. That is Pratirato Paikam, like that. And Kumara saw this sight and it's called as Swasamadhi Bhagyam. This vision of the Lord was like Swasamadhi Bhagyam. So till now in their Samadhi, they would only meditate on Brahma. But now they were actually getting the fulfillment of all that Samadhi. They felt like the perfection of all Samadhi is now happening in the sight of Supreme Lord, when they're beholding this sight of Supreme Lord. So he was, very beautifully decorated and also being served by all his associates. Hamsa Shriyor Vyajanayo, on both sides of Lord, there were 2 chamaras which were white like swans, Hamsa Shriyo. And though both the associates, they were, doing chamar for the Lord, because of which very beautiful, soothing, auspicious air was coming on Lord's body. And in this way, he was walking, being done the chamar by 2 of his associates on both the sides. On his head was Shubhra Atapatra. There was a very beautiful white umbrella on his head. And Shashikesara Shikarambam. And it is said that like umbrella you have seen, like we have, I think now also in Balaji. So umbrella is there and from the end, there are pearls hanging, right? So similarly, this huge umbrella was there, which was as white as moon. And from the end of the umbrella, beautiful pearls were hanging. So it was looking like some beautiful lotus is there, which is kept upside down. And from the end, beautiful water droplets are coming. No, or another analogy is moon was there. If you take a moon and that is being held over Lord's head, and the nectar drops are falling from the edge. So like that, the beautiful sight was there. Shashikesha Rashikarambum. So they saw this beautiful sight and felt like this is Samadhi Bhagya. This is actually perfection of all that. We were trying to meditate. We used to meditate on Brahma, but then here is actually result of all that, result of our Samadhi that has become now in front of us. It has come. So all this paraphernalia, it acted as Uddipan to develop Rati for the Lord. That's the point. These all acted as stimuli that generated Rati for the Lord, Uddipanas. So Lord was there, but all these other factors acted as stimuli by which, so even that chhatra or even the chamara, everything, whatever was there, that added in increasing attraction for the Supreme Lord. So that is called as Uddipan Alambhan, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu concepts. So in this way, very beautiful sight was there. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that although only Rupa Madhurya is being mentioned, you can understand, everything else is also there. Shabda, Rupa, Rasa, Sparsha, Gandha, all the aspects are being glorified. Meaning beautiful sounds were also there. Some instruments were being played. Sausvarya. And then Lord's body was also very Sukumar, Saukumarya. Then what you see is Saundarya. Then what you smell is Saurabhya. Like that. And in this way, all this Shabda, Rupa, Sparsha, Rasa, Gandha, all of them were experienced in that sight of the Lord, which they beheld like that. So Prabhupada is commenting on Samadhi Bhagyam, that that particular word. He says, second line, meditators who are very fortunate can see the Vishnu form of the Lord within their hearts by following the Vedic yogic process. But to see him face to face is a different matter. So somebody may be able to see the Supreme Lord Vishnu in his Samadhi, but here they were able to see him directly, face to face. So this is only possible for pure devotees. He is saying that. Okay, next verse, text 39. Kritsna prasada sumukham sprahaniya dhama sneha valoka kalaya hridi samsprishantam shame pruthavurasi shobhitaya shriya swaha chudamanim subhagayantamivātmadhishnyam.
The Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure. His auspicious presence is meant for everyone's benediction, and his affectionate smiling and glancing touch the core of the heart. The Lord's beautiful bodily color is blackish, and his broad chest is the resting place of the goddess of fortune, who glorifies the entire spiritual world, the summit of all heavenly planets. Thus, it appeared that the Lord was personally spreading the beauty and good fortune of the spiritual world.
So, his beautiful description of his beauty, Krishna Prasada Sumukham. This is all what they saw. Object of their vision is being glorified by all these words. Krishna Prasada Sumukham. So, Lord's face radiated a complete grace, a complete bliss unto everyone. Sprahaniya Dhama, he was the most desirable object. What is to be seen in this world? So best thing of that, the most desirable object of any vision. So that is Supreme Lord. Sneha Valoka Kalaya Ridhi Samsprishantam. He was touching everyone's heart by very affectionate, smiling glance that he was bestowing upon everyone. And Shame Prutha Burasi Shobhitaya Shriya. And his beautiful body of Shama color, blackish, bluish complexion of Supreme Lord. His broad chest, and on that is the residence of goddess of fortune, Srivatsa. So his beautiful site in which, one was able to see his beautiful form and his beautiful Vakshasthal on which goddess of fortune resides. In this way, he appeared like he's expanding the whole, effulgence of his abode everywhere. That Lakshmi, which is on the Lord's chest, it appeared like she is bestowing such prosperity and such beauty everywhere that the planet of the Lord and that Vaikuntha, it appeared like Swaha Chudamanim, the best of celestial planets. Because this is Swaha, this is above all the celestial planets, even above the Satyalok. So this Vaikuntha is known as Swaha Chudamani, best of all the celestial planets. Although it is not a celestial planet, it's a transcendental planet, Alaukik, Divya. But still, because being in material world, so it's glorified like that. Swachudamani. So this way. So Krishna Prasad Sumukha shows that, Kumaras were also a little fearful because they cursed Jai Vijay, but then they saw that Lord is coming, so they became fearful. My God, now, their boss is coming, their master is coming, and is he happy with us? Whatever has happened is very unfortunate. They were not sure. So they became a little fearful that Lord is coming and will he be displeased with us? What have we done? We cursed his doorkeepers only. So probably he will not be happy with us like that. So he will be angry with us. So they were filled up with that doubt. But when they saw Lord's face, Krishna Prasada Sumukham, he was smiling at them. So then they felt that, oh, okay, maybe he's not angry with us. He is fully pleased. He is surely not angry with us. This way, when Jai Vijay saw Lord's face, then they started weeping, they started crying, thinking that because of our mistake, now we will not be able to behold such a beautiful face. Now we will be stripped off from this fortune of being able to see the Supreme Lord's beautiful face. So they started weeping. Krishna Prasada Sumukham, how that same vision of Lord's face is affecting different people, that is being spoken over here. So Jaya and Vijay started feeling great distress within their heart because now they will be, because of this curse, they will be losing the sight of such beautiful face of the Lord. And all others who were seeing, they also saw the Supreme Lord and they were feeling that, oh, just see how affectionate he is to his devotees. He himself has appeared to set right the situation. They were seeing that and they were excited how he is going to deal this particular situation. So Krishna Prasad Sumukha, sab logon ko jo prasad, grace, his Krishna means to all. He was in this way bestowing complete happiness on all the devotees there. Whether it is Kumaras, whether Jai Vijay, or all the devotees who were present over there. So that is Krishna Prasada Sumukha. Sprihaniya Dhama, he was the abode of all beauty, Saurabhya, Saundarya, all that, Madhurya, Yauvanam, everything. Kishore, he is Kaishorya, we can say. Lord is 16 years old. He manifests that particular form in Vaikuntha. So he is Sprihaniya Dhama. Whatever you desire, the best thing in Shabdarup Sparsha Rasa Gandha in this world, he is a manifestation of that. So that's how he is the most desired object in this world. So that is the meaning which is also spoken by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Prabhupada in purports talks about the offense. He says that how deadly is to offend some great devotee, Hatimata, mad elephant offense. So he says that here also, he is coming here to set right that situation because here we see that the offense was done at the feet of his devotees. So Prabhupada says, second line, to commit an offense against a devotee is very dangerous in devotional service. He says, an offense unto the feet of a pure devotee murders one's position in devotional service. Words are murders one's possession. It murders. On the part of the Lord, there was no offended mood because he does not accept any offense created by his sincere devotee. But a devotee should be very cautious of committing offenses at the feet of another devotee. The Lord, being equal to all and being especially inclined to his devotee, looked as mercifully at the offenders as the offended. Krishna Prasad Sumukha. In this way, he touched the heart of everyone. Second, Prabhupada says, in this verse, the words Prahaniya Dham indicate that Lord is reservoir of all pleasure because he has all the transcendental qualities. So all that Shabda Rupa Sparsha Rasa Gandha, he is manifestation of the best in that. Although only some of these are aspired for by persons who hanker after the pleasure of merging in the impersonal Brahman, there are other aspirants who want to associate with the Lord personally as his servants. The impersonalists, they are interested only in the aspect of, the Lord's effulgence that is coming. The jnana aspect, they are only interested in that. Chit, the chit aspect, especially the aspect of Brahman, meaning the jnana aspect only. But then we see that the devotees, they are interested in all the aspects. So that's how here, Sprahaniya Dhama, it is said. Okay, next 40, text 40. Pitan shuke pruthunitam bini vispurantya kancha virutaya vanamalaya cha valgu prakoshthavalayam vinata sutanse vinyasta hastamitarena dhunanam abjam.
He was he was adorned with a girdle. Sorry, he was adorned with a girdle that shone brightly on the yellow cloth, covering his large hips, and he wore a garland of fresh flowers, which was distinguished by humming bees. His lovely wrists were graced with bracelets, and he rested one of his hands on the shoulder of Garun, his carrier, and twirled a lotus with another hand.
Yeah, so beautiful sight. He was wearing the Pitambar Pitam Shuke, and that was also with a kanchi, with a sash, girdle, with a sash, and over the sash there was also very beautiful ornament, belt, you can say. That is kanchi, sash uh, and the belt. So also he was wearing a very beautiful vanamala. His beautiful navel was visible. Valgu Prakoshthavalayam, which has very beautiful, lovely shape. Also, it is referring to bracelets. It can also refer to the bracelets on his wrists. Vinata sutam se vinyasta hastamitarena. And on the shoulder of Garudji, he was keeping his hand. His left hand he was keeping on shoulder of Garuda. So this is while walking. While walking, he is keeping the hand on Garuda. And with the right hand, Dakshin Hastena Dhunanam Abjam, he was twirling a lotus. Very beautiful sight. And just like even Krishna is glorified like this at other places when he gave darshan to Yajnapatnis, Dhunanam Abjam, like that. So they saw this beautiful sight. So Lord was wearing a vanamala. There are three kinds of garlands that Lord wears. Dhruv Goswami explains this in Bhakti Rasamrita. There is vanamala, Vaijayanti, and Ratnahara, he says. So Vaijayanti extends up to knee, and it is made up of 5 different flowers. That is Vaijayanti Mala. But Vanamala, it extends up to feet. If he stands, the mala extends up to all the way up to feet. That is called as Vanamala. And it is made up of forest flowers and leaves. It has leaves and all that. And there is third one is Ratnamala or Ratnahar, which he wears on his chest. It doesn't extend that long. So those are the three kinds of garland typically he wears. Multiple Ratnamalas he wears. Vanamala is one, Vajayanti is one, in this way. And then there is a lot of garlands which he wears on his head, tying his hairs, and also on his hands, some of the bracelets or like that. So all this is described in Bhakti Samsyan, the beautiful description of Lord. So in this way, they saw this beautiful sight and felt extremely attracted. Text 41. Vidyut kshipan makara kundala mandanarha gandasthalonnasa mukham manimat kiritam dordanda shanda vivare harata paradhya harena kandhara gatena chakaustubhena. Yes.
His countenance was distinguished by cheeks that enhanced the beauty of his alligator-shaped pendants, which outshone lighting. His nose was prominent, and his head was covered with a gem-studded crown. A charming necklace hung between his stout arms, and his neck was adorned with the gems known by the name Kaustuba.
Yeah, so some more description of the beauty. So all these ornaments, they beautify the Lord. But actual thing is that Lord beautifies the ornaments. Bhushana Bhushanangam. So cheeks were very much beautified by this Makara Kundal, but actually Makara Kundal were looking very beautiful because they were on the ears of the Lord, close to his beautiful cheeks. So Bhushana Bhushanangam, one who is actually ornament of even ornaments. Ornaments, they are perfect. They achieve perfection when Lord wears them. So this way, even Kaustubha, Lord's Vakshasthal, chest is itself so effulgent that Kaustubh loses all its charm. Kaustubh cannot be seen also. But then Lord wants Kaustubha to do some service. So then Lord withdraws that effulgence because of which Kaustubha can be seen like that. Otherwise, Kaustubha also is not seen. So much is the effulgence of Lord's body. Even other ornaments also, it is said. So he withdraws that effulgence so that these other ornaments can also be seen. These other facets are visible. 42. Atropasrishtamiti chotsmitamendiraya svanam dhiya virachitam bahusauštavadhyam mahyam bhavasya bhavatam cha bhajantam angam nemur nirikshana vitripta drisho mudakai.
The exquisite beauty of Narayan, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. My dear demigods, the Lord who thus manifested himself is worshipable by me, by Lord Shiva, and by all of you. The sages regarded him with unsated eyes and joyously bowed their heads at his lotus feet.
Such was the beauty there, that it upasrishtam, it defeated Utsmitam Indiraya. Indira ji ke, Indira is Mother Lakshmi. Indiraya Utsmitam, the pride of Lakshmi was defeated. Such was the beauty of Lord. He was so beautiful. Upasrishtam, like that. Or Srila Jiva Goswami says that when Lord appeared there and Lakshmi was following, and that beautiful sight, Lakshmi thought, oh, let us compete who is more beautiful. I am more beautiful or Lord is more beautiful? And then she said, no, I am defeated. He is more beautiful. And then immediately she became proud, thinking, but I have such a great husband, so I am great. Like that. So Utsmitam, first her Utsmitam is defeated and then again she is getting, but he is my husband, so I am glorious. Like that. He says, Atropas Srishtam Totsmitam Indiraya. Like that. So Lord is so beautiful, the most beautiful sight in the whole world here. And that even Indira, most beautiful goddess of fortune, also feels pride that, oh, he's my husband. Such a beautiful personality, like that. Swanam dhiya virachitam bahu sauštavadhyam. And he was decorated, Lord was decorated very beautiful by his servants. स्वानाम धिया, उनके सेवकों ने अपनी बुद्धि लगा के उनको सुंदर सुशोभित कर दिया था। बहु सौष्ठवाढ्यम, इतना सुंदर सौष्ठव जो आ रहा था वो कैसे आ रहा था? स्वानाम धिया विरचितम. It was by this great intelligence of his servants. So it's like pujaris, how they also put a great effort in how Lord will look most beautiful. So that's exactly the thing. Swanam dhiya virachitam bahu sauštavadhyam, like that. So these sages, they saw this beautiful form of the Lord. Na vitrupta drisho muda kai. And seeing this form, naturally they bowed down. Nemo. This form, which is, worshipable object of even Brahma or Shiva or everyone else, naturally, so much were they moved by that darshana that they bowed down at his feet naturally by bowing their heads. Muda kaihi, nemuhu, naman kiya unhone by their heads. So this is the point, that even Lakshmi's beauty is eclipsed by Lord's beauty. Prabhupada says in purport, third line, in the words of Vaishnava poets, it is said that Lord's beauty is so enchanting that it defeats hundreds of thousands of cupids. He is therefore called Madana Mohana. It is also described that Lord sometimes becomes mad after the beauty of Radharani. Poets describe that under those circumstances, although Lord Krishna is Madana Mohan, he becomes Madana Daha, or enchanted by the beauty of Radharani. Actually, the Lord's beauty is super excellent, surpassing even the beauty of Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. Upasrishtam utsmitam indiraya. The devotees of the Lord in Vaikuntha planets want to see the Lord as the most beautiful. But the devotees in Gokula or Krishna Lok want to see Radharani as more beautiful than Krishna. Special rasa that the devotees of Krishna Lok, Goloka have. The adjustment is that Lord, being Bhakta Vatsal, or one who wants to please his devotees, assumes such features so that devotees like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods may be pleased. So that is the point. Devotees want to decorate the divine couple, Krishna and Radharani, Lakshmi and Narayan. So beautiful, so wonderful, that all his devotees are pleased, all his devotees feel a great bliss. And then in turn, that would make more beauty of Lord get manifested. In turn, that would make devotees very, very, even more blissful, happy, like that. So that Bhakta Vatsalyata is being manifested. Even when Lord wants to see his associate or his consort being more beautiful than himself. So that same thing is there because of his great Bhakta Vatsalya that he has. Because of the great love that Srimati Radharani has, or all his other friends, devotees have towards him. Krishna wants them to be much more glorified than even himself, like that. So that is his nature. Text 43. Tasya Ravindanayanasya Pada Ravinda Kinjal Kameshra Tulasi Makaranda Vayuh Antargatah Svavivarena Chakara Tesham Sankshobham Aksharjusham Api Chitta Tanvoh. Yes.
When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding.
Yeah, so this is the effect. They saw the sight, and then as Lord came closer, the Tulasi, the Lord's lotus feet also has Tulasi garlands. Also Tulasi and Tulasi garland is there. So Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu. Kinjalka. Kinjalka refers to the saffron dust particles, or it can refer also the fingers of the Lord. So that Kinjalka, that's those saffron dust particles mixed with Tulasi, And that Vayu, the air, it carried those particles and entered into the nostrils of Kumaras. Antargathasva vivarena. So it entered the nostrils of Kumaras and then it did Sankshobha. Pura Sankshobh ho gaya wahan pe. A great agitation was caused in their heart, like that. In their heart, in their body. Sankshobha. Great agitation came forth in their heart and in their body. Although they were Akshara Josham, although they were extremely always absorbed in Brahman. And when they are absorbed in Brahman, those kind of feelings, agitation was actually a greatest surprise. Because no mundane Shabda Roop Sparsha Rasa Gandha can affect them in any way. Even when they were entering those 6 gates, it is said there, Shat Asajjamana. Asajjamana. Nothing of this world, especially that sort of Shabda Roop Sparsha Rasa Gandha can enter like that. So here, although it is also part of Vaikuntha only, those 6 gates and all, Lord is manifesting that agitation that is causing only in his appearance, like that, when he is appearing over there. And they experienced an agitation which they had never experienced in their life. So this was not some mundane Shabda Roop Sparsha Rasa Gandha. The flood of ecstasy that came in their heart, they had never experienced such a thing. Something similar also happened to Shukdev when he heard those verses, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. And he also heard about Barha Pidam Natavaravapu. So he felt such a surge of ecstasy that he had never felt in his life. And this is not how a Brahman realized person feels. They are completely balanced. They never alter their state of mind like that. So this is what Sankshobham Chakara, Sankshobh kar diya unke man mein, chitta mein aur tanu mein, sharir mein, like that. So that was the great effect of Lord's personal beauty. Their minds completely became agitated. That what is this? This is a transcendental experience. We have never experienced this thing in our life. Krishna Chakravarti Thakur says, if you want to conquer anybody, if you want to conquer a country, what do you do? First, you kill their leader only. And then you can defeat everybody else. Or whatever. You want to conquer an army, then you finish off the commander-in-chief. Then it's a complete chaos there. Everybody can be defeated very easily. So similarly, this Tulasi Makaranda Vayu, this air which entered into the nostril, it first killed the leader, that is Chitta. Man ko hi prakshobh kar diya. And then all the other assistants, which is the body, senses and all that, they felt agitated, ears became, excited, and then the eyes, tears started flowing, and, hair stood on the end. This is all like defeating all the assistants. So first Chitta, then Tanu, Chitta Tanvo, like that. So this was the great effect of that, just that wind which has come, the air breeze which has come mixed with the saffron dust particles and Tulasi, Tulasi Manjari, like that. So after in this way experiencing a great agitation in the mind, they also felt all the sattvic vikaras. All tears started flowing from their eyes, hair stood on the end, and perspiration, and all those ashtasattvic vikaras, they came in their heart, like that. So this was the effect. So actually, if they were so much fixed in the bliss of Brahman, why was that such an effect was occurring? So it is proving clearly that this pleasure is even higher than the pleasure of Brahman, which they had experienced. And Lord was twirling the lotus, saying to Kumaras, why you are getting agitated? Be peaceful. Brahman realized, right? So be peaceful, no? Why so much of agitation? Sthirikrit, sthir banao bhai khud ko, sthir roko. Kya ho gaya itna? All the effects are happening. He was twirling the lotus, saying this thing. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has commented like that. So Prabhupada says in purport, it appears from this verse that the four Kumaras were impersonalists or protagonists of the philosophy of monism, becoming one with the Lord. But as soon as they saw the Lord's features, their minds changed. In other words, the impersonalist who feels transcendental pleasure in striving to become one with the Lord is defeated when he sees the beautiful transcendental features of the Lord. So that is the commentary for rest of the verses. This point is only being highlighted by Acharyas. How Brahmanand is nothing in as compared to, Bhakti Anand, or the beauty of Lord's form, great madhurya which is there in Lord's form. So that is the point. Text 44. Teva amushyavadanasi tapadmakosham udviksha sundara taradhara kundahasam labdha sheshah punaraveksha tadiyam angri dvandvam nakharunamani shrayanam nitadhyuhu.
The Lord's beautiful face appeared to them like the inside of a blue lotus, and the Lord's smile appeared to be a blossoming jasmine flower. After seeing the face of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied, and when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the nail of his lotus feet, which resembled rubies. Thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental bodies again and again, and so they finally achieved the meditation on the Lord's personal feature.
So in this way, seeing this beautiful form of the Lord, lotus eyes, lotus face, lotus smile, lotus hands, lotus feet, everything. So they were wondering what to see. I mean, they were bewildered whether to focus on eyes, and then they are seeing ears, and then beautiful nose and smile, and they are seeing beautiful, chest of the Lord and bahu, arms of the Lord. So they were completely bewildered. So then they thought, what's happening? Okay, let's begin with the feet. So then they udviks dvandvam nakaruna mani shrayanam nidadhyu. So such was the bewilderment, and such was the ecstasy, such was the agitation. So then they finally thought, what are we doing? Actually, the way is that you should begin with the lotus feet. So then they focused their attention on this beautiful ruby-like nails of Supreme Lord. Arunam Mani Shrayanam. They are reddish and like sun of a rising, color of the rising sun. And they started meditating on that. Angri dvandvam nakharuna manishrayanam nidadhyu. They placed their mind focused. So this is labdha shesha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this is it. They have received the greatest benediction that one could receive. The attraction and the bliss of seeing Lord's form face to face. Labdha shesha. So all that Brahmaji used to talk to them about Lord's beauty, and Narad Muni used to talk to them about Lord's beauty. Un sabka labdha ashish ho gaya abhi. Actually, they have received the real benediction of all those descriptions, which Brahmaji and these personalities would speak to them. That's the meaning of labdha ashisha. Kumaras have received the ashish benediction from their father Vyasa, their father Brahmaji, and also from their brother, which is Narada, like that. So in this way, they continuously meditated on Lord's lotus feet. Text 45. Pumsam gatim ragayata meha yoga margai dhyanaspadam bahumatam nayanabhiramam pausnam vapur darshayanam ananya siddhair outpattike samagranan yutamashta bhogai. Yes.
This is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary but factual, as proved by the great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement, but for others, these achievements are not possible in full perfection.
So this is actually मृगयताम पुमसाम गतिम, पुरुषार्थ ढूंढने वाले लोगों की ये गति है. दिस इज इट. Yoga margai hi dhyanaspadam. They want to meditate through Ashtanga Yoga and all such other paths. This is that Purushartha Shiromani, Pancham Purushartha, the object of all the Purusharthas, Pumsam Gatim. So they saw this beautiful form of the Lord. And Pausnam Vapu, it is coming from Puman. So this was a form which he had manifested, the beautiful personal form of the Lord, which is not to be achieved by any other way. Ananya Siddhai, Autpattike Samagranan Yutamashtabhoge. And this form which is filled with all the perfections, yogic perfections, or like that, full in all 8 kinds of achievement. So Prabhupada has written a long purport explaining what is real yoga and what is not, how yogis should follow the rules, and then what is the best form of yoga for the Kali Yuga. So it's a solid preaching purport that he has given about what is the Yoga Marga and how on the Yoga Marga one should also practice the rules and regulations. It's not just physical gymnastics that is there. Yogi means he has to lead a life of self-restraint and celibacy, right? So Ashtanga Yoga, if you delete the top 4, then it becomes Hatha Yoga, Yama, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam. And in that also, if you delete Yama and Niyam also, then it becomes Bhoga. That's it. I mean, Yoga for Bhoga, then nothing remains like that. So in Ashtanga Yoga, you already deleted top 4, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, and you say Hat Yoga Pradipika, like that. And then in that Yama Niyam also is not there. Otherwise, if Yama Niyam is there, then in that you have to talk about Ahimsa, Brahmacharya. 5 kinds of Yama are there, 5 kinds of Niyam are there. Both of them have 5 components. So in that all this is there, Ahimsa, Santosh, Brahmacharya, everything is there. But nobody wants to speak about it. So you speak only Asana and Pranayam. And that's considered yoga. So Prabhupada is criticizing that, saying that that's not yoga actually. One should connect to the Yuj, connect to the Supreme. And finally, he talks about how this best yoga for the Kali Yuga is chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's a long purport, basically, put on discussing these particular themes. Okay, text 46. Kumara Uchuhu. Yontar hitordi gatopi duratmanam tvam sodyaiva no nayanamulam anantaradha yarhe vakarna vivarena guhangato naha pitranuvarnitaraha bhavadudbhavena.
The Kumara said, "Our dear Lord, you are not manifested to rascals, even though you are seated within the heart of everyone. But as far as we are concerned, we see you face to face, although you are unlimited. The statements we have heard about you from our father Brahma through the years have now been actually realized by your kind appearance."
Yeah. So, seeing this beautiful darshan of the Lord, then Kumaras, they spoke. Now Lord is in front of them. They are in that assembly at the gate. So Kumara Uchuhu, Kumaras offered their prayers. So 5 prayers they have offered. So they say that actually it is our great fortune that that form which is Ridhi Gatopi Duratmanam Antarhitah. Although that form is within the heart, but for those who are not qualified, those who are sinful, those who are not having any devotion for the Lord, for them Antarhita, that is not visible, that form. Although His Supreme Lord is within the heart only, like that. But that form, yourself, has become Nayana Moolam Radha. It has become now manifested in front of us. This is our great fortune. In fact, your form had become manifested in front of us before only. So if Lord were to say, when before? So they are saying, Yarhi eva karna vivarena guham gatona. As soon as we heard your description from Brahmaji, from Narad Muni, and it entered into our ears, that time only this form had become manifested. Meaning they are saying that as soon as we received the mercy of Brahma and Naradji, it was sure that we will receive your darshan. That's what they are saying, like that. So that time only the form got manifested, meaning that it was certain. And today it has happened now that we have been able to get this beautiful darshan of your form. Pitranu varnita raha bhavad udbhavena. आपसे उद्भव हुए जो मेरे पिता है ब्रह्मा जी है उनके द्वारा जब वर्णन हुआ यर्हि एव, when that description was made, it was sure that we will receive the mercy of you in terms of your form being manifested. So that has happened today. So they're remembering that mercy which they have received from Brahmaji, their father, that because of whom only Bhaktanugamani Bhagavad Kripa, it is said. Bhaktanugamini, Bhakt ke piche jati hai Bhagavad Kripa. So that is what has happened also for them. So they're saying that, yes, this is great mercy of our Father that we are able to now reap this benefit, reap this greatest benediction of being able to see you in front of our face. So Prabhupada talks about Duratma and Mahatma in the purport. He says one who has a very crooked heart is a Duratma, while Mahatma is one who is having a broad heart. Exactly. Literal meaning he is giving. Means those who are engaged in devotional service, actually. For them, Supreme Lord can be visible. But for others, he is not visible. Yes, and he also later speaks about how they received this mercy of Brahmaji, and that's how they were able to see the Supreme Lord. Final Prabhupada says, this is in the last para, fourth line from the bottom. Another significant aspect of this verse is that sages describe their experience of hearing from their father, Brahma, who was born of the Lord directly. In other words, the disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, and from Brahma to Narada, and from Narada to Vyas, and so on, is accepted here. So just as Kumaras, they were able to see by mercy of Brahma, they were able to see the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada is saying, anybody who accepts the devotional service seriously in the bona fide sampradaya, he will also be able to receive the darshan of the Lord by Brahma. So it's not just for Kumaras, it is also for anyone who comes in that disciplic succession, like that. So that is the point that Prabhupada brings up also. Guru Shishya Sampradaya, Parampara. Text 47. Tam tvam vidama bhagavan paramatma tattvam satvena samprati ratim rachayantam esham yatte nutapa viditaya drada bhakti yogair udgranthayordi vidurmunayo viraga.
We know that you are the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, who manifests his transcendental form in the uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. This transcendental eternal form of your personality can be understood only by your mercy, through unflinching devotional service, by great sages whose hearts have been purified in devotional way.
So we are able to see this Paramatma Tattvam today. Vayam Vidama. And how can this be known? Drada Bhakti Yogai. He is saying that actually this form otherwise is only available to be seen by practicing staunch devotional service. Drada Bhakti Yogai. Anutapa Viditai. And those sages whose hearts have been purified in the devotional way, they are saying. Like that, only they are able to see this beautiful form. So Anutapa here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says that it is showing that they are themselves feeling some Anutap. They are feeling repentance of cursing the doorkeepers, the Dwarapalas of Supreme Lord Jaya and Vijay. So they are themselves praying to the Supreme Lord that, although we have also done this offense, this mistake of cursing, but we are feeling Anutap now. And we are praying to you that please you bestow your mercy upon us also. Please don't reject us. We also have that anutapa. So he gives that meaning also to the word anutapa. Prabhupada in purport, he talks about Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidas, and also about Shuddha Sattva, Lord's form being Satvena Samprati Ratim. So that Sattva form of the Lord means Shuddha Sattva. Whenever Sattva is used, it means Shuddha Sattva. In case of Supreme Lord, Vishuddha Sattva or Shuddha Sattva, like that. Text 48. Natyantikam viganayantyapite prasadam kim vanyadarpita bhayam bhruva unnayaiste yengatvadangri sharana bhavata kathaya kirtanya tirtha yashasa kushala rasajna.
Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are engaged in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less important benedictions like the material happiness of the heavenly kingdom.
Natyantikam viganayanti apite prasadam. Those who have received your mercy, those who have received your grace, they don't give very high regard to atyantikam api. Atyantik bolte hai impersonal liberation ko. Even that they don't give any great regard. What to speak of kim vanya darpita bhayam bhruva unnayaste. What to speak of material benedictions which are like, always having that fear that they would be destroyed by the time. So they don't, those who have received your mercy, they don't regard even for impersonal liberation. Then what to speak of such benedictions which are in this world? Anya darpita bhayam. They can be destroyed by Lord's eyebrows, meaning they can be destroyed by the time factor. Dhruva Maharaj also prays like this. Ya nirvritis tanu bhratam tava pada padma dhyanat bhavat katha shravanena vasyat. Praise that. Sa brahmani api tvad mahimani api kimtu antaka silulita patatam vimanat. Same way, exact same prayer, in fact, is there. That they don't regard even the greatest pleasure of impersonal liberation. What to speak of then this worldly benedictions. So they are praying like devotees. They wouldn't have prayed like this if they were impersonal jnanis, right? For them, the highest goal is Brahman realization, that sayujya, impersonal moksha that they have. But here they are saying that atyantikam na viganayanti, atyantik ko bhi nahi mante, usko kuch jada bhav nahi dete. What to speak of the material benediction. So see, they are praying like devotees. They are devotees. They have manifested that devotional service. Now, next verse, text 49. Kamam bhavasva vrajinay mirayeshu nastat cheto livadyadinu te padayo rameta vachascha nastulasi vadyadite engri shobha puryeta te gunaganer yadi karna randhra.
O Lord, we pray that you let us be born in any hellish condition of life, just as long as our hearts and minds are always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Our words are made beautiful by speaking of your activities, just as tulsi leaves are beautiful when offered unto your lotus feet. And as long as our ears are always filled with the chanting of your transcendental qualities.
So, by our aparadh, by our karma, whatever, what mistake we have done, we have cursed your Dwarapalas. So, if because of this you are displeased with us, and if we have to go to Niraya in some low birth, they curse Jai Vijay to go in low birth. Now they are saying that we may ourselves, actually deserve that kind of punishment. So if we have to go, if you are displeased with us, and if you decide that we should go to the lower births, not Jai and Vijay. So if this is so, kamam bhava svavrijanayi, they say that by our own mistakes, by our own wrongdoing, If we have to go to the hellish planets or lower births, let it be so. Nastat, let it be so. But we ask this benediction from you, that let our mind be like the bee, which is always hovering on your lotus feet. They are saying, Cheto alivad yadi nute padayo rameta. चेत, हमारा मन जो है वो हमेशा आपके चरणों में लगा रहे। जैसे कोई मधुकर, जैसे कोई like मधुमक्षिका है, how she is always interested in the honey of the lotus. So similarly, let our mind be always interested in the lotus of your in your lotus feet, in the honey of your lotus feet. Meaning, let our mind always hover around your Nama Rupa Guna Leela. Vachascha nas tulasi vadyat yadi te angri shobha. Our words, let them glorify your lotus feet, just like Tulasi always glorifies your lotus feet. So very beautiful prayer. Vachaha te angri shobha. Let our words always glorify the glory of your lotus feet. Puryet te guna ganer yadi karnarandra. And let our ears be filled constantly with your Nam Rupa Guna Leela, this way. So they're praying like Vritrasura also prays, right? Aham hare tava paday kamula dasanu daso bhavitasmi bhuya manasmareta supater gunanste grinitva karma karotu kaya. He also prays manasmaret asupate guna. Let my mind remember the glories of Asupati, the Lord of life, Lord of my life air. Granit Vak, may my Vak glorify your glories. Karma karo tu kaya, and may my body do your karma. May my body serve you always. So similarly, they are also praying. Prabhupada says in purport, the four sages now offer their humility to the personality of Godhead because of their having been haughty in cursing two other devotees of the Lord. Jaya and Vijay, the two doorkeepers who checked them from entering the Vaikuntha planet, were certainly offenders. But as Vaishnavas, the four sages should not have cursed them in anger. After the incident, they became conscious, they meaning Kumaras, became conscious that they had done wrong by cursing the devotees of the Lord. And they prayed to the Lord that even in the hellish condition of life, their minds might not be distracted from the engagement in service of the Lord. So that is the point, that they became conscious and they are feeling now, Swavrjanai, whatever is our wrongdoing, and if you want to punish us, please punish us, but let us remember your lotus feet always in this way. Last verse, text 50. Praduschakartha yadidam puruhuta rupam tene shanirvritim vapuralam drashonaha tasma idam bhagavate nama idvidhema yonatmanam durudayo bhagavan pratitah.
O Lord, we therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto your eternal form as the personality of Godhead, which you have so kindly manifested before us. Your supreme, eternal form cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent persons, but we are so much satisfied in our mind and vision to see it.
Yeah. So in this way, our eyes, our vision has reached complete zenith of all bliss, apex of all bliss. Tenesha nirvritim vapuralam drashona. Alam nirvriti. Nirvriti kehte bliss ko. In Sanskrit, 4 words are there. Nivritti, nirvriti, and then also 2 more words are there, similar, which have different meaning, like that. So point is that we have reached to the ultimate bliss by seeing this beautiful form of yours, Yadidam Puruhuta Rupam. So that's why we just offer our obeisances unto you, O Supreme Lord. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, the 4 sages were impersonalists in the beginning of their spiritual life, but afterwards, by the grace of their father and spiritual master Brahma, they understood the eternal spiritual form of the Lord and felt completely satisfied. So So the whole purpose of this verse is to tell that how they are saying that we have attained bliss which we have never attained in our life, such nirvriti, which is not experienced before. So that's why this form is the highest, this bliss is the highest. So Srila Jiva Goswami has given a very long commentary on this, just explaining the point of how the pleasure of seeing Lord's form, serving Lord's form is greater than the pleasure of Brahman. So a lot of references, a lot of beautiful philosophical points. So I leave it up to you to go through that. It's a very popular commentary also that he has written. So many wonderful references he has put into this. So you can take a look at, at a later point of time. Fine. So thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of third canto, 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Description of Kingdom of God. Hare Krishna. So we'll just have a 7 minutes break, and then the next chapter I will be speaking on important verses. We'll just go through it very quickly. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so this is chapter 16. This is a short chapter. Yeah, but anyway, there is some 2-3 main discussions are there. So we'll try to see them and complete this in the remainder time. Chapter 16, the two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, cursed by the sages. So main topic in this chapter is about how Lord pacified Kumaras, spoke such instructions which were having multiple meanings. We'll see that. And then finally, Kumaras were pacified, everything was settled, and they went back. They left from there. And also, Brahmaji concludes the narration saying that those same Jai Vijay, they now have expansions of Jai Vijay have now entered into the womb of Diti. So he says that. So let us see these verses now. Fine. Text 1. Brahmavacha iti tadgranatam tesham muninam yoga dharminam pratinandya jagadedam vikuntha nilayo vibhuhu.
Lord Brahma said, after thus congratulating the sages for their nice words, the Supreme Personality Godhead, whose abode is in the kingdom of God, spoke as follows.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha eto tau parshado mahyam jayo vijaya evacha kadarthi krityamam yadvo bahva krataamatikramam.
The personality of Godhead said, these attendants of mine, Jay and Vijay by name, have committed a great offense against you because of ignoring me.
Yeah, so Lord is calling that offense which they did is as kadarthi kritya mam. Actually, they have ignored me only. They have neglected me only. It is like that. Neglecting you, it is actually neglecting me because they haven't followed my instruction of respecting a Brahmana like you, and what to speak of then sages like you, great sages like you. So that's why this is a great insult that has happened against you. And in this, they have ignored my own instructions. Kadarthi kritya mam. So all this that Lord is speaking, 11 verses he will speak This has two pakshas in it. It has two aspects, two sides. One is Abhinandan paksha, another is Nindana paksha. Abhinandan bhi chal raha hai aur Nindan bhi chal raha hai. So the meaning is given by acharyas in both the pakshas. Okay. Abhinandan paksha and Nindan. Nindan means, you understand, Lord is speaking in a way that he is actually criticizing Brahmanas, and he is glorifying his devotees. Criticizing in the sense, again, with compassion, but then he is not glorifying Brahmanas, rather he is glorifying Vaishnavas, and he is comparing Brahmanas with Vaishnavas. So that is known as Nindana paksha. But there is also Abhinandana paksha, which is where he is glorifying Brahmanas, where he is glorifying the devotees, Vaishnavas also. So within Abhinandan paksha, there are two aspects. One is where he is glorifying Brahmanas as Loka Shiksha. That is the plain meaning, the straight meaning that comes by verses. That is known as Loka Shiksha. Sridhar Swami gives that meaning. Prabhupada also gives that meaning primarily. So that is Lok Shikshartham, कि भाई ब्राह्मण कितने महान है, ये अभिनंदन पक्ष में प्रमुख अर्थ है, मतलब एक अर्थ है. लेकिन इसमें ही दूसरा अर्थ है अभिनंदन पक्ष में, कि ये किसके लिए लागू हो रहा है. दिस इज ओनली एप्लीकेबल फॉर वैष्णव ब्राह्मण. Great Vaishnava Brahmanas only it is applied. It is not for any ordinary Brahman. So in this way, he is glorifying in two aspects. Glorifying Brahmanas for sake of Loka Shiksha, Jiva Goswami says this, and glorifying pure Vaishnavas for the sake of showing his true, true regard, showing his Bhakta Vatsalya. What is that Lord regards as the highest? So these two aspects are in Abhinandan Paksha. And in Nindan Paksha, he's joking with Kumaras. What he says, he doesn't mean it actually. He means something opposite of what he is saying in this way. So he's saying there as Brahmanas are inferior to Vaishnavas. That's the point which he wants to say there. And this is how, it is said, Saraswatarth. Saraswati ka artha hai ye. भगवान के शब्द जब बोलते हैं ना, तो वहां पे भगवान का हर एक शब्द यानी वो साक्षात सरस्वती का प्राकट्य है, राइट. लक्ष्मीर यस्य च वक्षसि, वागीशा यस्य वदने, लक्ष्मीर यस्य च वक्षसि, यस्या हृदये संवित् तं नृसिंहम् अहं भजे. ही सेज श्रीधर स्वामी, वागीशा यस्य वदने, जिनके शब्द न शब्द सरस्वती है. So that's why Saraswati is taking the meaning in different way when Lord is saying something. So that is called as Saraswatartha. This thing happens multiple times in Bhagavad. You must have seen Saraswatartha. The words don't mean that. Like Kamsa criticizing, Indra criticizing Krishna. Vachalam stabdam balisham. So ye Saraswati thodi na tolerate karegi. The meaning is different. That's called as Saraswatartha. Okay, so here also the Saraswatarth is there for all these verses. Okay, so while going now, we will see the plain meaning which is there. Loka Shikshartham, Brahman ka Gungan. At verse 14, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur topples the whole thing by saying that actually the meaning is completely different. So that's when we can see quickly how he is giving different meaning to what he is saying. Okay, text 3. यस्त्वेतयोर्धृतो दंडो भवद्भिर्मामनुव्रतैः स एवानो मतो स्माभि मुनयो देव हेलनाथ. Yes.
O great sages, I approve of the punishment that you who are devoted to me have meted out to them.
Yeah, so I approve this. Anumatah, मेरा अनुमोदन है ये जो आपने किया उसके लिए. This punishment that you have given Deva Helanath, because these people have done such a great offense against you who are to be worshipped. Deva Helanath, like that. So jo dand diya hai, I approve it. Tadvah prasad yamyadya brahma daivam param hime tadhityatmakritam manye yatsva umbhera satkrita.
To me, the Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. To disrespect shown by the attendants has actually been displayed by me, because the doormen who are my servants, I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has been arisen.
So when he says, I so seek forgiveness, actually Brahmanas are Brahma Daivam Param Hime. Brahmanas are most beloved personalities to me. Which meaning is coming? Which Paksha? Abhinandan Paksha. In that which one? Lok Shiksha or the other one? Lok Shiksha. This is Loka Shiksha. That is being spoken. Brahmanas are my greatest, Brahma Daivam Param Hime. Mera Paradaivat Brahman log hai. He's saying like that. So that's why whatever they have done, Kumaras have done to you, I accept it as Atma Kritam, that actually I only have offended you. This is this is how I take, like that. So Prabhupada in purport, he opens the suspense and yes, he writes the purports in a way that Vaishnava Brahmanas are being glorified here. Prabhupada says very clearly, here only in this purport itself, he says that one who has become, this is 6th line, one who has become a devotee of the Lord is also a Brahmana. The formula is Brahma Janati iti Brahman. A Brahman is one who has understood Brahman, and a Vaishnava is one who has understood the personality of Godhead. So he says further, therefore, one who becomes a Vaishnava is already a Brahmana. It should be noted that the glories of Brahmana described in this chapter by the Lord himself refer to his devotee Brahman. This doesn't refer to non-devotee Brahman. This refers to devotee Brahman or the Vaishnava. It should never be misunderstood that the so-called Brahmanas who are born in Brahman families but have no Brahminical qualifications are referred to in this connection. So Prabhupada is telling that very clearly, that this is referring to Brahman Vaishnava or rather Vaishnava Brahman. So he's taking that Abhinandan Paksh in the real sense, Lord glorifying the Vaishnavas. He's not taking that so much the aspect of Loka Shiksha. In purport, in translation, he is surely taking. That's how Prabhupada is. Always in translation, he takes the plain meaning, Sridhar Swami, and in purport, he will take Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jiva Goswami. This is a standard style how Prabhupada writes, actually. That's why sometimes if you want to make sense of Prabhupada's translation with purport, you will go berserk, because he is putting Sridhar Swami there, and in purport, he is quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti's meaning like that. So this is his usual style, like that. Okay, text 5. Yan namani cha grannati loko bhrate kritagasi so sadhuvadas tat kirtim hanti tvacha mivamayaha.
A wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master, just as a spot of white leprosy on any part of the body pollutes all of the skin.
Yeah. So servant's offense is actually offense of the master only. Yan namani cha grannati loko bhrate kritagasi. अगर भृत्य सेवक कुछ आगस कर देता है, पाप कर देता है, गलती कर देता है, तो लोग नाम किसका लेते हैं? गुरु का नाम लेते हैं. किसका शिष्य है? किसने किया ऐसे? यन नामानि च गृह्णाति, लिटरली उसका नाम लेते. Whoever is the master, his name is taken, like that. And in that way, that criticism, asadhuvada, it destroys his fame, it destroys his reputation, just as one spot on the whole body, one spot of white leprosy, makes person call the, not that spot, but the person as kushti. Kushti evayam, he says. Are ye kushti hai ye to dekho. So nobody might refer to that particular spot, but you call the person only as kushtarogi. So similarly, he is saying that if some servant does some mistake or offense, then actually the master, he is held responsible in this world. And that way his reputation is destroyed. That itself is a great punishment. Like that, he says, if I have committed an offense, and then if Kumaras were to say that, Lord, how can you commit offense? And even if you commit offense, I mean, who can punish you? You are beyond all that. So Lord is saying answer to that. Actually, punishment is the reputation, that infamy, the bad reputation that has happened, that itself is a punishment. like that. Just as people don't criticize the skin, the spot, white leprosy, but this criticize the person. So that's why he is saying that whatever my servants have done, actually I owe the responsibility, because yes, they are my servants, they are my dear people, and they haven't followed the instructions. So, he's saying in this way. Fine. Text 6. Yasya mritamala yasha shravanavagaha sadyah punati jagadashva pachad vikuntha soham bhavadbhya upalabdha sutirtha kirtihi chindyam svabahum api vah pratikula vrittim.
Anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you.
Yeah. So if Kumaras were saying that actually you are considering yourself so much responsible for this offense, but you are free from fault. There is no question of any fault in you. In fact, taking insignificant people like us so seriously, you are making us greater than you. Like that, if they were to say. So in answer to that, Lord is saying this verse. Actually, it is fact. I am great because of you only. He is saying like that. Yasyamrutamala yasha shravanavaga. If I have got this power that anybody who hears my glories, such a person is able to become so pure that he can transform the whole world. Even somebody like Chandala, that can also be transformed by hearing my glories. How is that I have achieved this glory? Upalabdha sutirtha kirti. Aapke wajah se to ye kirti mili hai mujhe. He is saying to Kumaras, because of Brahmanas only, bhavadbhya upalabdha sutirtha kirti. Because Brahmanas worship me, so I have that power. So it is because of your worship, it is because of your glory, because you have highest regard for me, you worship me, so I have got the power by which the whole world actually is able to take my name and purify their lives. Like that. Appears like exaggeration, right? Isn't it? So actually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this is his consciousness. Lord is Svabhavata, he is only glorious. His nature is only supremely auspicious. Not that Brahmanas worship him, so he is getting some power, or Vaishnavas worship him, so he is getting his power. No, but the point is, this is his consciousness. This is how he thinks. That actually because of because of Vaishnavas, and because of they worshipping me, and because of their they're desiring me, accepting me as their beloved, because of their making me as the object of their love. So that's why there is some power, in my Naam, Rupa, Guna, Leela and all that. This is how he thinks. So that aspect of even Lord's humility is coming out. He thinks like that, although it's not a fact. Vaishnavas are glorious, Brahmanas are glorious, because Lord is, they are always remembering the lotus feet of Lord. They are worshipping him, they are serving him. But he says the opposite way. He says that actually, Bhavadbhya upalabdha sutirth kirti. Aapki wajah se meri jo kirti hai wo upalabdha ho rahi hai mujhe. Like that. So that's why if my servants, they offend you, what to speak of my servants? Swabahum api vah pratikula vritti. I am ready to cut off my own arms if they have become unfavorable to you. Meaning servants is to something outside of my body. Mamataspad hai wo to. It is in mama, aham or mama. You understand? Ahanta, mamata. So servants is in mama or aham. Mama. Yeah. So that's called as mamataspad. It is in the abode of mamata. But forget about mamata. I am saying ahanta aspadam api, chindyam. This hands or these legs and all this is actually with a part of my body. Somebody may sacrifice mamataspad, but it is very difficult to sacrifice ahantaspat. So that is what he is saying, like that. People, I mean, we see that sometimes even dependents or like that, to save one's life, one may sacrifice them that way. But he is saying, Svabahum api vaha pratikula vrittim. What to speak of punishing my servants? I am ready to lop off my own arms. He says, that is what, that is how I consider the Brahmanas to be worshipable. This way. So in Prabhupada in purport says that real purification can take place in human society if its members take to Krishna consciousness. And so he's talking about that aspect of Yasyamrita mala yasha shravanavaga. Famous verse is there, right? Even she says that Devahuti, she also says, Shvadopi sadhya savanaya kalpate. Famous verse that is, that anybody who takes to the devotional service, even Shwada, even one who is eating the dogs, he was eating the dogs. It is for past sense. It's not continuing. That verse is analyzed in huge details in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shvadopi sadhya savanaya kalpate. But even such a person who was before a dog eater, he becomes qualified to perform Soma Yajna. Savanaya kalpate, savan ke yogya ho jata hai. Like that. So that is the power of, he says that, Yasya nama, Shravan, Anukirtananu, and all that. This way. So Lord is saying that that power is there only because, Brahmanas are worshipping me. This is how he's speaking. Text 7. Yatse vayacharana padma pavitra renum sadhya kshatakila malam pratilabdha shilam nashrir viraktam apimam vijahati yasyah preksha lavartha itare niyaman vahanti.
The Lord continued, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin, and I have acquired such a disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her, and others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor.
Yeah, so he's saying what to speak of that. Because of serving the Brahmanas, or rather because of being object of worship of the Brahmanas, because of being beloved of the Brahmanas, so it has happened that I have acquired the disposition that just by serving my lotus feet, all contamination is gone. Sadhya kshata khilamalam yat sevaya. Yat sevaya, जिनकी सेवा के कारण, मीनिंग यत विप्राणाम सेवया, हम विप्रों की सेवा के कारण, ब्राह्मणों की सेवा के कारण, I have got such a disposition now that anybody who serves my feet, then such a person also becomes free from all contamination. In fact, these feet have become so glorious that even Lakshmi doesn't want to give up the service of these feet. That Lakshmi, whose grace is desired by all others like Brahma and all, and they perform austerities so that goddess of fortune, bestows merciful glance on them, and they can reign in their prosperity, continue in their prosperous life. So such is the glory of my lotus feet. But why is that? Yat sevaya pratilabdha shilam. Because I am serving the Brahmanas, because I am actually in this way, I am fond of Brahmanas. So by their mercy, this kind of shilam, this kind of disposition I have achieved, like that. Prabhupada in purport. As the devotee thinks that it is due to being a devotee of Lord that he is elevated in God, all good qualities. So the Lord also thinks that it is because of his devotion to the servitor that all his transcendental glories have increased. So Prabhupada is giving in that Vaishnava Paksha, that this is Lord's consciousness. He thinks that actually because I am serving devotees, I have some glory. Otherwise, what is my glory? In other words, as the devotee is always anxious to render service to the Lord, so the Lord is ever anxious to render service to the devotee. See, this is his wonderful nature. He is also very eager to serve the devotees. Although he is most glorious, he feels that actually if I have any glory, that is because I am serving the devotees. They are, by their mercy, by their blessings, like that he feels that way. So this is his amazing nature. Text 8. Naham tathadmi yajamana havirvitane chota tadghrit plutamadan hutabhung mukhena yad brahmanasya mukhatascha nughasam tushtasya maya vahitair nijakarma pakaihi.
I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrificers in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths, with the same relish as I do the delicious delicacies or flowing with ghee, which are offered to the mouths of the brahmanas who have dedicated to me the results of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasad.
So I don't relish this ahutis in the ghee, ahutis in the yajna. Yajna is also considered mukha of the Supreme Lord. Agni is jivva, Agni jivma. So when those ghee and all those other aspects of samedha or purnahuti, vyanjanas, whatever is offered in the yajna, I don't relish it. Na ham tatha admi. मैं वैसे नहीं खाता हूं. I don't relish it as much as when brahmanas are offered the delicacies overflowing with ghee, and when they are eating, then I am very much delighted by that. So one mukha is Agni, another mukha is a Brahman. So Brahman ke mukh se ghee mein pura bana hua jab andar jata hai, I relish that very much. I don't relish this. Good verse for Brahman bhojan. Right. Yes. So he is saying that. So I relish that like that. Tushtasya maya vihitar nicha karma pakai. Unka jo ek anughasam, one morsel they relish. Wow. Like that. Kya hai? Badhiya. Some malpua soaked in ghee. Like that. So I relish that much more, or rather I don't relish that yajna ahuti like that, although both are considered by my mukhas. Meaning, this is how Brahmanas are so dear to me. But they're qualified by saying, Avahitair nija karma pakai. They are the ones who have offered their activities to me. They are the ones who have offered their existence of their life to me. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, here it means Brahmanas who are the Vaishnavas. He says, and Brahmanas or the Vaishnavas who are, he says that, like Narad Muni. He says, if you see a Vaishnava Brahman, so he quotes Padma Puran, Shvapakam iva na ikshet loke vipram avaishnavam. He says, इस जगत में अगर अवैष्णव विप्र है ना, ब्राह्मण है ना, तो उसको देखना वैसे ही टालना चाहिए जैसे कोई कुत्ते ने हविषान्न को देख लिया. If he is not a Vaishnav, अवैष्णवम विप्रम न इक्षेत, उसकी ओर देखना भी नहीं चाहिए. जैसे कोई कुत्ते ने अगर भोजन पे, that we know that, right? If a dog sees the naivedya finished, it's finished. You can't do anything with it. You have to throw it without seeing, like that Shastra speaks. That way. So similarly, he says, similarly, if somebody is not a Brahmana, this is Padma Puran, somebody is not a Vaishnava, but he is a Brahmana like that, then this is how it is. It's no way considered glorious like that. So especially a Vaishnava in this verse means one who hates Vaishnavas. He says somebody could be Udasin, that is also okay. But if somebody hates Vaishnavas, then this verse is like that. Shvapakam iva na ikshet. Hater of Vaishnavas is a Vaishnava over here. But he says if there are some Brahmanas like Vasishtha who also have the bhakti element in it, bhakti is there and they are powerful Brahmanas also, then these Brahmanas are also glorious. And the perfect manifestation of this verse is Vaishnavas, like he says, who are pure devotees, who are the pure Vaishnavas. Because of their bhakti predominance, they are most dear to the Lord. So, point is, yes, this verse is applying to the Vaishnavas, those who are those who are also on the path of pure Vaishnavism, right? So he says that what is excluded from this verse is only a Vaishnava, one who is hater of the Vaishnavas, one who hates Vaishnavas. So even if he is Brahman birth, then such a person is, his face should not be seen. Like that he says. So that is how Lord is glorifying the Brahmanas. Text 9. Yesham bibharmyaham akhanda vikuntha yoga maya vibhutiramalanghri rajah kiritaih vipranstu kona vishaheta yadharha nambha sadyah punati saha chandra lalama lokan.
I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and the water of the Ganges is the remnant left after my feet are washed. That water that water sanctifies the three worlds, along with Lord Shiva, who who bears it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas on my head, who will refuse to do the same?
So he's saying, Vipran, I myself take the dust of all those Vipras, Brahmanas. Prabhupada translates as Vaishnavas. Right? If I take the dust of those Brahmanas on my kirita, and then because of which only you see that the water that washes my feet, my Charanamrita, is actually purifying all the three worlds, including even personality like Lord Shiva. And because of which I have become Akhanda Vikuntha Yogamaya Vibhuti. I have become the master of unlimited opulence, whether in the material world or in the spiritual world. So who in this world, I mean, I want to take the dust of lotus feet of such Brahmanas. So who in this world, Vipranstu Kona Vishahet, who in this world will not tolerate such Brahmanas? He's saying. Literally, that's what the words means. Vipranstu Kona Vishahet. कौन है जो ऐसे ब्राह्मणों को सहन नहीं करेगा, उनको तितिक्षा उनके प्रति नहीं दिखाएगा, लेकिन इन दोनों ने नहीं दिखाया. So that's why they should be punished. He's speaking like that. Sadyah punati sahachandra. So Prabhupada comments on that aspect of akhanda vikunta yoga maya vibhuti by talking about internal difference between internal and external energy. Fine. Text 10. Geme tanur dvijavaran duhatir madhya bhutanya labdha sharanani chabheda buddhya drakshantya ghakshata drisho hyahimanya vastan gridhra usha mama kushantya dhirandanetu.
The Brahmanas, the cows and the defenseless creatures are my own body. Those whose faculty of judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. They are just like furious serpents, and they are angrily torn apart by the bills of the vulture-like messengers of Yamaraj, the superintendent of sinful persons.
Yeah, so he's saying, so that's why Brahmanas should be tolerated. If they sometimes, such great personalities, Brahmanas, they also seem to be doing some offense. So they should be tolerated. Viprans tu kona vishahet. What to speak of tolerating a Brahmana's chastisement or a Brahmana's apparently unjust punishment? He's saying that actually you can't even see Brahmanas or cows different from me. One thing is to tolerate a Brahmana's mistake, but he's saying, forget about that. You have to tolerate it, surely. Not only that, but you also have to see Brahmanas and cows, Dvijavaran Duhatihi, non-different than me. This much he's saying. They are Madhya. So these personalities should be considered as non-different than me. Bheda Buddhya, you can't see them with Bheda Buddhi. This much he is saying. Their bodies are actually, should be seen as non-different than me. So especially Dvijavar, meaning Brahmanas and cows, he is saying. Drakshanti agha kshatadrisho hi amahimanyavastan. So if otherwise, if somebody sees them with a Bheda Buddhi and wants to whatever, torture them or do any unjust thing to them, he sees them separately from me, Brahmanas and cows, then such a person, he says that because of his Bheda Buddhi, Yamaraja's attendants would punish him very severely. Adhidanda neta kaun hai? Yamaraj hai. So his servants, which are considered to be like Gradhra, Rusha, they are like vultures, vulture-like messengers. They will punish such a person who has Bheda Buddhi, one who doesn't see me and cows and Brahmanas as one, like that. So that is his point, that he will be punished, such a person, if he's seeing Brahmanas and cows as different from Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada in purport says that 5 kinds of personalities should be protected always. Manu Samhita says that. Out of this, Brahmanas and cows are especially dear to the Lord, it is said. So this is all Lok Shiksha happening. You please understand how a Brahmana should be respected. How a Brahmana should, his so-called Atikrama also should be tolerated. If is some kind of unreasonable behavior from Brahmana should be tolerated. If he's an exalted Brahmana, one should tolerate that. So that is what is Lok Shiksha that he is giving. And then you apply it also for Vaishnavas, Vaishnavas who are great Mahats. So in such cases, he says that it should be tolerated that way. What to speak of tolerating? One should see the non-difference between Lord and his devotees. So especially here, cow and Brahmanas are spoken in a Lok Shiksha aspect by Prabhupada. Text 11. Ye Brahmanan mayidhiya kshipatorchayanta tushad rida smita sudhokshita padma vaktra vanyanuraga kalayatma chavat grunantah sambodhayantya hima vivaha uparitaste.
On the other hand, they captivate my heart, who are gladdened in heart and who, their lotus faces enlightened by nectarine smiles, respect the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words. They look upon the Brahmanas as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words, even as a son would appease an angry father, or as I am pacifying you.
Yeah. So that's why one should respect the Brahmanas. Personalities like Durvasa or Jamadagni, the Shigrakopi. But then these personalities are to be tolerated. These personalities, the great Brahmanas, he's saying that that is how they should be respected, right? Like how Queen Draupadi handled the situation, or how Srimati Radharani herself, one who is the supreme goddess of fortune, she also pleased Durvasa Muni by her humble service. And then Durvasa Muni, for Leela Shakti, pastime sake, he blessed her by saying that, she would make the best of Vyanjanas, and anyone who eats it will remain the most healthy and will never fall to any diseases. So personalities like that, they should be served with a great regard, even though sometimes they may behave in a little unreasonable way. So dhiya kshipato archayanta. So those who consider with their intelligence that, oh, these Brahmanas should be respected like Supreme Lord, although kshipataha, it is said, although they might be speaking some strong words or chastising like that, but one should accept them with smita sudhokshita padma vaktara, with a lotus face smiling at them. One should accept. Lord is saying that because these are great Brahmanas, so even their chastising words should be accepted with a smiling lotus-like face. Just as Atmajavat Granantaha, just as children or sons, when the father is angry, it's not that they also become angry. Father is angry, so they also become angry. Father says something, he is also shouting at him. No, they know that actually he is loving, he loves me, but that because of whatever mistake or like that, sometimes it might be a little unreasonable also. But he says that Atmajavat Grananta, just as children or sons, they pacify the father with sweet words. And then he comes back to his natural disposition. That is very important. Yeah, the natural disposition should be there of affection like that. So, Sambodhayanti ma aham iva. So just as I am pacifying you, so similarly, the Brahmanas should also be always placated, pacified, even though they are little unreasonable sometimes in their behavior. So it's talking about great personalities or Vaishnavas or Brahmanas like that. Purport. It has been observed in many instances in Vedic scriptures that when the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas curse someone in an angry mood, the person who is cursed does not take it upon himself to treat the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas in the same way. That's not the recipient's job. If a Brahmana or Vaishnava is like that, is behaving in an unreasonable way, so one maintains his composure still. And Lord may deal with that particular situation if needed. That is the point. So Prabhupada quotes, sometimes such examples are seen, right? Like that. Okay, last verse that Lord speaks. Tanme svabharturavasayam lakshamano yushmad vyatikrama gatim pratipadya sadyah bhuyo mamantikam itam tadanugraho me yatkalpatam achayato bhratayor vivasah.
These servants of mine have transgressed against you, not knowing the mind of their master. I shall therefore deem it a favor done to me if you order that, although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, and the time of their exile from my abode may expire before long.
Yeah. So in this way, my servants here, they have done a great offense to you. Lord is concluding his words. Yushmad vyatikrama gatim pratipadyas. So it is certain, and I approve that they should be given this punishment. So because of doing such an insult to you, because of doing this offense to you, but only I have one request. Tad anugraho me. I just ask for one anugraha, that immediately after whatever punishment you have given, so after that punishment is finished, let that time be not very long. Immediately let them come back to me. Mamantikam itam. Let them come back to me, my proximity, immediately after that punishment is done. Like that. So that vivasa, that separation between us, let it not be very strong. I accept that they should be punished, but let that punishment be in a way that, immediately once that punishment is done, they come back to me. So he's like that requesting to Kumaras. He's saying, please do that anugraha to me so that they can come back, because I can't give them up. They are my own servants. I can't give them up. I can't reject them like that, he's saying. So that Bhrityavashyata of Supreme Lord is being shown over here. Yes, they deserve the punishment, but I can't give them up. That's not a master, right? Even Chaitanya Charitamrita says, one who gives up, that say Swami Dhanya. That master is glorious, one who never gives up, his dependent. And same way with the dependent, right? Like that. So Lord is also showing that nature, saying that, yes, once they are, they have gotten that punishment, please let them come back and continue to stay here in my service. Prabhupada says in purport, you see, third line, it is to be assumed that there is no possibility of a misunderstanding between Lord and the devotees. But when there are discrepancies or disruptions between one devotee and another, one has to suffer the consequences, although that suffering is temporary. So there may not be misunderstanding between Lord and devotee, but between devotee and devotee, there could be misunderstanding, and because of which we see that such discrepancy or disruption has taken place. But in such cases, after they suffer the consequences, devotees, then they are again united back in their service, like that. So text 13, Brahmovacha atha tasyoshatim devim rishikulyam saraswatim nasvadya manudashtanam tesham atma pyatrapyata. Yes.
Brahma continued, even though the sages had been bitten up by the serpent of anger, the souls were not satiated with hearing the Lord's lovely and illuminating speech, which was like a series of Vedic hymns.
Yeah, so although they heard such beautiful words of Lord, they are glorified as Saraswati, that Vani that Lord spoke is said to be Ushati, Devi, Rushikulyam. Such all beautiful adjectives are used for that. But still, although they heard this, Kumaras were so angry that Tesham Atma api atrapyata. No, actually, that they were not completely pacified. Their anger didn't go away, although such beautiful, lovely speech of Supreme Lord was there, which was like Rushikulyam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this shows that they had committed an offense to the Jai Vijay. The very fact that they could not be pacified even by Lord's words shows that they had offended the devotee, and that's how that anger didn't go away from their heart. Non-removal of their anger shows that that offense to the Jai Vijay was done. So, although apparently in this case we see that the offense is by Jai Vijay, but actually offense is by Kumaras to the Jai Vijay. They should not have cursed in that particular manner to Lord's doorkeepers, which are Lord's, his own transcendental associates like that. But then this is all transcendental Leela happening. So he's saying that, so because of this offense only Kumaras could not achieve Dasya Ras, and they had to be, they only could achieve Shantarati. If they didn't have this offense towards the Lord, they would have achieved Dasya Ras. But because of this offense, they could not achieve Dasya Ras, and they only achieved Shantaras. Again, these are the principles being mentioned. What do you mean by Kumaras achieving Dasya Ras? Are they some sadhan siddha? They're not sadhan siddha. They're nitya siddha, right? So that's why they are, anadi unmukha. Srila Jiva Goswami says they are always, for eternity, they are unmukha towards the Supreme Lord. So this is a principle being mentioned, that because of aparadha of the Lord, one will not be able to, one, like here, that growth in devotional service, advancement in devotional service, that will be choked. What to speak of that? He says, he quotes also Vishwanath Chakravarti, that's another topic in itself, where he quotes that what happens to the bhava by mahad aparadh? What happens to the Bhakti Swami Sindhu speaks about it in great detail. So that actually bhakti, even that bhava could be destroyed if the aparadh is very great. Neha bhikraman ashosti, wo bhi topple ho jata hai. Aparadh is like that. That aspect will be toppled completely. Neha bhikraman ashosti. And it can destroy the devotional service. One can fall from his rasa like that, he speaks. In Bhakti Swami Sindhu, that discussion is there for those of you who want to know. So the point is here that he is demonstrating this principle, this gravity of such an offense to Mahats, like Lord's pure devotees, like here Jai Vijay. In general, offending any devotee, but especially Mahad Aparadh, that's the point over here. And the great devotees, if they are offended, then it's a disaster that can happen in one's spiritual life, like that. So, yeah, text 14. Satim vyadaya shranvanto lagvim gurvartagah param vigaya gadha gambhiram navidus tachakirshitam.
The Lord's excellent speech was difficult to comprehend because of its momentous import and its most profound significance. The sages heard it with wide open ears and pondered it as well. But although hearing, they could not understand what he intended to do.
Yeah, so Lord's Vani was like that, that it was Lagvi, Laghu becomes Lagvi, which was very terse. He spoke few verses only, which was very brief. Gurvartha Gahvaram, but it was full of meaning. And although being Jnana Shakti's Shaktavesh avatar, they were bewildered. What is he saying? Is he happy with us? Or is he chastising us? Nindan Paksha hai? Ki Abhinandan Paksha hai? Kya chal kya raha hai? So they are first time in their life, they are bewildered by somebody. They don't get bewildered. Kumaras are not bewildered like that. Agadha Gambhiram. So they didn't understand, what is he saying? Is he chastising us? Looks like he is glorifying us, but doesn't seem like that. He is chastising because they are also able to see that meaning, different meaning is also there coming through his words. But they were not sure, they were doubtful whether it is like that or not, this way. So this is that verse where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given the opposite meaning to the entire verse. So you can read in detail. I'll just give a glimpse of it. But text 14, here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the Sarasvatarth of whatever Lord spoke, like that. So in the initial verses, Lord said that, yes, these associates have done a great offense to you, and it is my offense only, that's how. So he is saying to them that actually these are my people, and they have done offense to you, but actually they are mine. You are not mine. They are mine. These are my own people. These two servants of, they are mine, like that. Then if he says that, mat, what was that? Mam kadarthi kritya, ignoring my intentions, they offended you. So he says that there is actually, this is a crooked utterance of the Lord. It's called bhangi in Sanskrit, bhangya, meaning that, oh, acha, meri avagya karke aapka aparadh kiya. Like that he is saying. Meri avagya karke inhone aapka aparadh kiya hai. Nahi. Acha, meri avagya karke aapka aparadh kiya. So you understand? The tone is changed. This is called as bhangi. This is called as Lord actually is doing a crooked utterance. Acha, itna aapka aparadh ho gaya kya? Kya aparadh kiya unhone? Like that he is saying, So he doesn't mean that actually they have offended, but rather you have offended them. They have not offended you, like that. He is saying, he says then that actually anumodan karta hu main. This punishment is, I approve this punishment. So Lord is actually saying that this punishment is designed by me. What you can curse my associates? This is my desire. This is my own desire. So you are thinking that you are punishing, and by your punishment they will be going to the material world. Forget it. This is my desire. That's why this is happening. So don't be proud of your power or your speech, like that. Brahma tejo samarthopi hantum na ichche. What is your Brahma tej? If I want, I can finish up all that Brahma tej. But because it is my desire, I want to fight with Yayujay. They're taking demon's role. So that's why I am not destroying this Brahma tejas. Let the curse be like that, this way. And over and above, if I cancel the curse, you will be very miserable. You will feel, "Arey, kya kar diya? Hamare curse mein kuch takat hi nahi hai." If I cancel the curse, you will feel offended. "Arey, Brahma, shop mein kuch power nahi." So I will keep your word. It's okay. You be happy. He's saying like that. But it's a problem that you Brahmanas, you feel intoxicated by power given by me. That's a problem, he says, with Brahmanas. They think that they are very great. But who is giving you the power? I am giving the power by which you are considered great. So I will keep your words and your curse intact. But it's a problem that you people get intoxicated. He's saying like that. Okay. Then he says that because of you, I mean, my lotus feet have become tirtha. He said that, upalabdha sutirtha, right? Yashasa. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, big joke. It's a joke, that's it. What is this? By Brahmanas, Lord's lotus feet become glorious and he becomes tirtha. He says, forget it. We don't have to even analyze. It's a joke, he says. Then he says, I will cut off my own arm. Like that. Actually, I love so much that I will cut off my arms, but I will not allow punishment to my servants. He says like that. That is his, I am ready to, ahantaspad jane dije, mamataspad nahi jane dunga. Of course, he doesn't have to even do that, but that is what his mood is, like that. Yes. My feet are made pure by service to you. Yat sevaya. Again, he says, what is this? External praise. This is impossible. I do not eat the offering of the sacrifice, but I am very fond of Brahmanas eating with ghee. Yes, you Brahmanas are well known for eating only. He says, yes, that is true. Actually, Vaishnavas are sense controlled, but Brahmanas are known for eating. Brahman bhojan priya. He says that like that. So naturally, you love all ghee and all that items this way, like that. So, but remember that you might be delighting in that ghee bhojanam or like that, but I am not delighting, when you are eating like that. I am not delighting, he says. Finally, he says that, yeah. So calling cows and brahmanas are non-different than Supreme Lord. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this is also has parihas. Yahan pe has parihas chal raha hai. This way. Finally, he says that actually I am controlled by brahmanas, right? Brahmanas control me. Aham vasha. I am brahmana. I am in control of the brahmanas who tend to offend others. So he says, actually, it's a nature of Brahmanas, especially to offend others. Vaishnavas are forgiving, but Brahmanas get angry like that. So that's why it's no joke. He says, it is a case that why they should be tolerated. Because they get angry only, So they should be tolerated by others. Tolerate them. You see Vaishnavas, they don't get angry. They are so forgiving. Before offense is committed, they are ready to forgive like that. But you people are well known for your anger like that. So that's why what to do. So I'm telling, please tolerate lok shiksha. Everybody should tolerate in this way. So I just gave you the glimpse. Actually, meaning is quite in depth with every word like that. But this is how he has turned the whole thing. Saraswatarth is given. So Abhinandan Paksha has turned into Nindan Paksha like that. So if you have the knowledge of language and all, then you can even see every word, how he's twisting the meaning and all that. So then it becomes relishable this way, like that. So fine. Yeah, these are some of the last verses now. They will be done quickly now. Text 15. Te yoga maya rabdha parameshtya mahodayam prochu pranjalayo vipra prarishta kshubhitatvachaha. Yes. Please read.
The four Brahman sages were nevertheless extremely delighted to behold him, and they experienced a thrill throughout their bodies. They then spoke as follows to the Lord, who had revealed the multi-glories of the Supreme Personality through his internal potency Yogamaya.
Rishaya uchuhu navayam bhagavan vidmas tavadeva chikirshitam krito me nugrahascheti yadadhyaksha prabhashase.
The sages said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are unable to know what you intend for us to do. For even though you are the supreme ruler of all, you speak in our favor as if we had done something good for you.
Yeah. So we are bewildered. Navayam Bhagwan Vidmaha. Hum log nahi jante. Aap kaise keh rahe ho? So one thing they understood, that Lord is speaking some things, but it looks like he is not happy. So whatever Lord spoke, they also reversed it by their prayers. They said, what are you saying? By our lotus feet, you are getting, no. Lakshmi doesn't leave your lotus feet because you are serving. No, they are also not agreeing with that. So that's what they do. Text 70. Brahmanasya param daivam brahmana kilate prabho vipranam deva devanam bhagavan atma daivatam.
O Lord, you are the supreme director of the Brahminical culture. You are considering the Brahmanas to be in the highest position. Is your example for teaching others. Actually, you are the supreme worshipable deity, not only for the gods, but for the Brahmanas also.
Yeah, so Lord had said Brahma Daivam Param Hime. But they are saying Brahmana se Param Daivam, Brahmana Kilate Prabhu. And you are actually Vipranam Bhagavan Atma Daivatam. Yeah, that's the reversal. You are actually the most worshipable Lord for all Vipras and demigods and all that. Although you said the other way around, but actually the fact is this. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur takes this verse as the pivotal verse to say that the Brahmanas referred in this section are Vaishnavas, because he says this is the real characteristic of Brahman. Kumaras themselves being topmost Brahman, they are telling Vipranam Deva Devanam Bhagavan Atma Daivatam. Vipra kisko keh sakte hai? जिसने भगवान को आत्मदैवत करके स्वीकार किया है. That's actually real Vipra, real in the real sense, like that. Okay, so Brahmanas are glorious, surely they are glorious, but especially the kind of statements that Lord has made, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has clear opinion that it is referring to Vaishnava Brahman, like that. Otherwise, you can say, take that Loka Shiksha aspect, but he doesn't mean it. He is speaking in terms of only Loka Shiksha. 18. त्वत्तः सनातनो धर्मो रक्षते तनुभिस्तव धर्मस्य परमो गुह्यो निर्विकारो भवान् मतः.
You are the source of the eternal occupation of the all living entities, and by your multi manifestations of the personality of Godhead, you have always protected religion. You are the supreme object of religious principles, and in our opinion, you are the exhaustible and inexhaustible and unchangeable eternally.
तरन्ति ह्यञ्जसा मृत्युं निर्वृत्ता यदनुग्रह योगिनः स भवान् किं स्विदनुग्रह्येत यत्परै.
Mystics and the transcendentalists, by the mercy of the Lord, cross beyond nescience by seizing all material desires. It is not possible, therefore, that the Supreme Lord can be favored by others.
Yeah, Supreme Lord cannot be favored by others. So all these prayers are just basically answer to Lord's what he said. Yam vai vibhuti rupayatyanuvelamannayir rartharthibhir swashirasha dhritapadarenu dhanyarpitangritulasi navadamadhamno lokam madhuvrata pateri vakamayana.
The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, the dust of whose feet is worn on the head by others, wait upon you as appointed, for she is anxious to secure a place in the abode of the king of bees, whose on the fresh breath of tulsi leaves offered at your feet by some blessed devotee.
Yeah, so not that goddess of fortune doesn't leave you because of our glory. No, but she is always anxious that she wants a place at your lotus feet, just like that bee. Yastam vivikta charitairannuvartamanam natyadriyat paramabhagavata prasangah satvam dvijanupatha punya raja punita srivatsa lakshma kimaga bhagabhajanastvam.
O Lord, you are exceedingly attached to the activities of your pure devotees, yet you are never attached to the goddess of fortune, who constantly engaged in your transcendental loving service. How can you be purified? Therefore, by the dust of the path of the traversed by the Brahmanas, and how can you be glorified or made fortunate by the marks of Srivastha on your chest?
Dharmasya te bhagavatas tribhi swai padbhishcharacharamidam dvijadevatartham nunam bhritam tadabhigati rajastamascha satvena no varadaya tanuva nirasya.
O Lord, you are the personification of all religion. Therefore, you manifest yourself in 3 millenniums, and thus you protect this universe, which consists of the animate and inanimate beings. By your grace, which is of pure goodness and is the bestower of all blessings, kindly drive away the elements of rajas and tamas for the sake of the demigods and twice born.
Yeah, we'll just finish this in 10 minutes, all the verses, and then we can. Natvam dvijottama kulam yadihatma gopam gopta vrishasvarhanena sasunrutena tarheva nangshati shivastava deva pantha loko grahishya drishabhasya hitat pramanam.
O Lord, you are the protector of the highest of the twice born. If you do not protect them by offering worship and mild words, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by the people in general, who act on the strength and authority of your Lordship.
Tatte nabhishtamiva sattva nidhairvidhitso kshemam janaya nija shakti bhirudhritare naita vatatriadhipater bata vishva bhartus tejah kshatam tvavana tasya sate vinodah.
Dear Lord, you never want the auspicious part to be destroyed, for you are the reservoir of all goodness. Just to benefit people in general, you destroy the evil element by your mighty potency. You are the proprietor of the 3 creations and the maintainer of the entire universe. Therefore, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, by submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastimes.
Yamvana yordamam madhisha bhavan vidhatte vrittim nuva tadanu manmahi nirvyalikam asma suvaya vaya uchito driyatam sadando yena gaso vayam ayunkshmahi kilbishena.
O Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to these 2 innocent persons, or also to us, we shall accept without duplicity.
We understand that we have cursed to faultless persons.
So they accept that they have cursed to faultless persons. That became dawned upon them like that by Lord's words. They have understood that actually Jai Vijay did not deserve to be punished like that. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Eto Suretar Gatim Pratipadya Sadya Samrambha Sambrita Samadhyanubadha Yogo Bhuya Sakasham Upayasyata Ashu Yova Shapo Mayeva Nimitas Tadav Veta Vipra.
The Lord replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall into a birth into a demoniac family, but they will be firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly.
Yeah, so in this way. So here also in text 26, for those of you who want to go through commentaries, please go through commentary. There are some interesting points which Srila Jiva Goswami makes, that whole idea of they choosing 7 lives or 3 lives. You have heard that? They were offered 3 lives and which are like as demons, or 7 lives as devotees. So he says that is not an acceptable idea. Actually, a Lord's devotee would not mind to be in hellish birth, but as a devotee rather than being a demon and thereby spending less time in the material world. Srila Jiva Goswami says that, actually a devotee wouldn't mind to spend more time or eternally in the material world, but he wants to be favorably engaged in Lord's service. So he says that actually the point was Lord only desired to fight and he wanted them to become demons to fight with him. That was the thing, that it's not that they chose or something, anything like that. That version is from another Puran. I'll take it later. That version is from another Puran, but Srila Jiva Goswami's comment is very clear like that, where he says that kind of version is not acceptable, because here he says it's the desire of the Lord. Okay. I just wanted to bring up that so that if you wish, you can go and read that. Brahmavacha athate munayo drishtva nayanananda bhajanam vaikuntham tadadhishtanam vikuntham cha swayam prabham.
Lord
Yes.
Brahma said, after seeing the Lord of Vaikuntha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the self-illuminated Vaikuntha planet, the sages left that transcendental abode.
Yeah. So, in this way, they left the transcendental abode. They left from there. They never entered into the Lord's abode. Again, Vishwanath Chakravarti says that was to demonstrate a point that one cannot enter Vaikuntha by offending the servants of the Lord. Bhagavantam parikramya pranipatyanumanya pratijagmu pramudita shamsanto vaishnavim shriyam.
The sages circumambulated the Supreme Lord, offered their obeisances and returned, extremely delighted at learning of the divine opulences of the Vaishnavas.
Bhagavan anugavaha yatam ma bhaishtam astusham brahmateja samarthopi hantum neche matantume.
The Lord then said to his attendants, Jai and Vijay, depart this place, but fear not, all glory is unto you. Though I am capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. On the contrary, it has my approval.
Yeah. So this verse is also commented interestingly. Yatam ma bhaishtam astusham. Yatam ma, go. And ma is said, means don't go. Bhaishtam astusham. And, it can mean basically that go, don't fear all auspiciousness unto you. But if you put that yatam under ma, don't go. He is also saying, don't go, don't fear, let all auspiciousness be unto you. So taking this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Jai and Vijay did not leave the spiritual world. Their expansions went to the material world, and they became these personalities, Kumbhakarna, this Ravana and Shishupal Dantavakra. So he said that only their expansions went. They both of them stayed there in the spiritual world. They didn't go. And he puts a praman for this. He doesn't just say like that. He says, when you see the Vamandev episode, in Vamandev's episode, which is Vaivasvat Manvantar, and that time no Lord Ramachandra has yet come. Ramachandra's Leela is in 24th Divya Yuga of the 7th Manvantar. Krishna's Leela is in 28th 28th Divya Yuga, and Rama's is in 24th. So Vaivasvat Manvantar's Vamandev pastime is happening much before. And what has happened by that time? Only Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, that birth is over because that happened in Chakshusha Manvantar. So he says that when the Lord Vamandev, he manifests all his great potency and strips Bali of everything that he had. So the demons attack him, right? You have seen that, heard that episode. So when demons attack, to fight from Lord's side come Jai Vijay. There, he quotes that Praman. So how is that Jai Vijay have come over there to fight from Lord's side? All his spiritual associates come there. So if Jai Vijay, they are already sent to the material world in terms of these demoniac births, how is that they are appearing there? So he says that it is clear, it has to be explained this way, that they were the original Jai Vijay and these demons were the expansions of Jai Vijay, like that. So he explains in that particular manner. Okay. So this is verse number 29. You can see that he writes in detail there. Etat puraiva nirdishtam ramaya kruddhaya yada purapavarita vishanti mayuparate.
This departure from Vaikuntha was foretold by Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. She was very angry because when she left my abode and then returned, you stopped her at the gate while I was sleeping.
So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this verse is not found anywhere, so I'm not going to comment on it. And Srila Jiva Goswami says that this verse is very famous in Gujarat for whatever reasons. He says Gurjar Deshe Bahu Prasid. So he says it is very famous in Gujarat, but this verse is not found in standard Bhagavad editions. So he also doesn't comment on this episode. Okay. Text 31. Mahi samrambha yogena nistirya brahma helanam pratyeshatyam nikasham me kalenalpiya sapuna.
The Lord assured the two Vaikuntha inhabitants, Jaya and Vijay, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the Brahmanas and within a very short time return to me.
Yeah, so they will be serving the Lord with that great anger, samrambha yogena, it is said, which is not a favorable way to serve the Lord, but they will be serving because of Lord's desire like that. Gopya kamat bhayad kamso, dveshat chaidyadaya napa, like that. So in that dvesh, bhaya, dvesh, anger, these are not favorable ways to serve. But here they will be serving because of Lord's desire. Dvasthavadishya Bhagavan Vimana Shreni Bhushanam Sarvati Shayaya Lakshmya Jushtam Swam Dhishnama Vishat.
After thus speaking at the door of Vaikuntha, the Lord returned to his abode, where there were many celestial airplanes and all surpassing wealth and splendor.
Tautu Girvana Rishabho Dustaradhari Lokata Hatashriyo Brahma Shapat Abhutam Vigatasmayo.
But those two gatekeepers, the best of the demigods, their beauty and luster diminished by the curse of the Brahmanas, become morose and fell from Vaikuntha, the abode of the Supreme Lord.
Tada Vikuntha Dishana Tayor Nipatamana Yoho Hahakharo Mahana Sid Vimanagreshu Putraka.
Then as Jaya and Vijay fell from the Lord's abode, a great roar of disappointment arose from all demigods who were sitting in their splendid airplanes.
Yeah. Aveva Hyaduna Prapto Parshad Pravaro Hare Diter Jadhara Nirvishtam Kashapam Teja Ulbanam.
Lord Brahma continued, those two powerful doorkeepers of the personality of Godhead have now entered the womb of Diti, the powerful semen of Kasyap Muni, having covered them.
Tayor Asuryor Yadya Tejasa Yama Yor Hivaha Akshiptam Teja Etarhi Bhagwan Stadvidhit Sati.
It is the prowess of these two twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power. However, for it is the Lord Himself who desires to do all this.
Yeah. So Brahma has concluded the episode. Vishvasya yah sthiti layodbhava heturadyo yogeshwarerapi duratyaya yogamaya kshemam vidhasyati sano bhagvanstyadhisha tatrasmadiya vimrashena kiyan iharta.
My dear sons, the Lord is the controller of three modes of nature and is responsible for creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe. His wonderful creative power, Yogamaya, cannot be easily understood even by the master of yoga. The most ancient person, the personality of Godhead, will alone come to our rescue. What purpose can we serve on his behalf by deliberating on the subject?
Hare Krishna. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So actually this chapter was, one of the chapters from last section came to me. And then I had already, 4 big chapters in this. So if you see last one chapter came from the last unit because of because of sickness. So that's how it became a little extra time. So frankly speaking, this is not an extra session also, because that unit I hadn't got even that to cover, been able to. But in any case, so this is finished. And those rest of the 3 chapters you can do self-study, because it is a very simple topic there, only fighting between Hiranyaksha and this Bhagwan Varaha. But these were somewhere concepts are there, so that's why I wish to take. Hare Krishna. Personally, yeah. So I couldn't search that where it is, but it is one Puranic version. But in Tika, Jiva Goswami is saying that this idea is refuted like that. But which Puran, I will have to see. I think mostly it is in Vishnu Puran or somewhere. Sometimes Jiva Goswami, what he